Alright everyone, apparently we're still leaking stuff, so I have to talk about it some more. There were 2 brand new videos that contained 3 clips, and we're gonna go through them nice and quick. And I'll explain as much as I can, and then I have some thoughts. Alright, part 1. It's Jason again, this time driving around Ambrosia at night. He's in a pretty beat up and rusty muscle car, and the only UI on screen is the minimap, which I now notice has a small fruit icon in the corner. I'm noticing also that the minimap actually has some color. I'm seeing green and purple alongside the usual grays. It looks pretty decent. The car, like I said, is pretty beat up. So much so that the hood has been pushed up slightly and is bent slightly upwards. The trunk of the car isn't flush with the back as one side is slightly bent upwards. Jason then drives into a private compound owned by the company Allied Crystal, and there are lots of warehouses and trucks all over this place. The large warehouses here all seem to have an interior that we can see through the windows. The lights are on, and there may be people home. It looks enterable. Jason drives a short ways into the area and pulls up next to 2 people who are talking next to a parked car. Both of these people are security guards. One of them says, "Hey, can't be here, this ain't public," as he begins to walk behind Jason. At this point, Jason is standing next to the other car, not his car, and he's given 2 options. The first is clone key, and the second is smash window. So there's another feature for you. We can clone keys to cars in order to get into them more discreetly, or possibly even just own them. I imagine this is probably done using the phone, if not a small device. It is grayed out here, so he doesn't have access to it yet. For the cloned key, there's a picture of a key with some wireless lines, and the icon for smash window is an exclamation point inside of a red shield. Both of these icons are red, meaning that they're illegal, I assume. The other guard then gets into a fight with Jason. The first punch Jason lands knocks off the guard's hat. The guard pulls out a pistol with a flashlight on it, but Jason hits him a couple more times and manages to disarm the guard and equip the weapon in one smooth motion. Jason then smacks the guard across the face with the gun, and this is done in slow motion from a different angle, much like Red Dead Redemption 2's cinematic kills. The slow-mo also allows us to see Jason's hair is moving somewhat realistically, and it looks fantastic. As Jason is fighting hand-to-hand, his stamina meter is of course going down. The gun, by the way, now appears in the upper right corner in full color, just like the other things we've seen so far. This time though, the ammo count appears above the weapon. The second security guard seems to hesitate when aiming at Jason, and doesn't immediately open fire, instead telling him to stop. He's close enough that Jason takes him down with a few smacks of his gun. Easy enough. At this time, I assume the left trigger is being pulled. The option to surrender appears in the bottom right corner. Even after beating up those guys right in front of the third officer, the third guard appears with a taser and does successfully tase Jason, but the only effect we see from that is some screen effects. He doesn't go down from it. In fact, as he's being tased, he's already starting to beat down on this guard. Next to the guard, who is now on the floor, are 2 things. The first is the taser, which is called the shocker. Jason is given the option to swap his close K17 pistol with this taser, meaning that our weapon wheel is definitely limited, and we'll see that later. It was also in the 2022 leaks, but here it is again, I guess. Limited weapon wheel. The other thing is actually the guard's security hat, which has now been knocked off his head and on the ground, which Jason picks up and pops on his head, just like Red Dead. He also picks up the taser and walks to the second guard he beat up and shocks him. It seems like the guy on the ground is just knocked out, but still alive, meaning NPCs won't die from the slightest touch like in 5. The taser, like everything else, appears in full color. As soon as he tases the body, a danger awareness indicator appears on the left side of the screen. As he turns to look, there's another security guard. Jason sprints slightly and aims his taser at the guard. This causes both the stamina and focus bars to both appear in the upper left corner. He tases the guy, who reacts how you would expect, and then Jason tries to run after a truck that's leaving company property, but he can't catch up. So he steals the truck that's following that truck. There are 3 trucks, I think, all moving out. As he opens the door to start hijacking it, bullets start flying in his direction, hitting the cab of the truck around him, causing sparks to fly and briefly light up that immediate area that was shot. At this point, there hasn't been a wanted level. The security guards seem to want to just deal with it themselves. As Jason hops in, the vehicle information pops up, but this time of course it says MTL Packer, which is the make and model, and it shows the truck's health, which I now clearly see as an engine icon, and those bullets did do a little damage, but not much. The fuel tank, on the other hand, is under half full, I also see here that behind the text in this box is the logo of the manufacturer, in this case MTL. Having stolen this truck and beaten the guards, Jason has earned a 1-star wanted level at this point, and the police know his clothes and face. On the right side of the screen it says crime reported, meaning that we'll have a system much like Red Dead Redemption 2, where people can call the police on you. It's a witness system, and I very much like that. The video then abruptly cuts out, and a random unrelated clip from a cutscene is shown, where Jason and Cal are both out on a boat drinking beers in the middle of the day. Jason is dressed similarly to this, while Cal is dressed identically to this. Jason says, "Fishing. I love fishing." Although we don't hear that part, we just see the subtitle. Then he says, "Good living. Here's to you, buddy. Enjoy your life till the men in suits decide to shut you the fuck up," as they clink their Patriot beers. Cal says, "They don't know nothing about me, man. I use a VPN." Nothing much to write home about here except a couple of small stickers. One says, "Born to fish, forced to work." Another is an image of some kind of manatee-like creature. Another sticker is partially obscured by Cal, but it's "Something want me, something scare me." I got nothing. The lighting in this scene, as well as the night clip, looks beautiful. The cutscene looks about as good as Trailer 2 from what I can see. It looks like the GTA 6 we expect to get, and that's good for everyone. Like the previous 2 leaked videos, these are of course in 30 FPS. I know some people were holding out hope for 60, but we knew what we were gonna get, come on. I can at least tell you that it looks like a damn stable 30. It looks smooth, there's no egregious motion blur. It's going to be about as good as Red Dead Redemption 2 is to play, I think. And whenever I play that on console, I forget it's 30 FPS within minutes. Oh, and as I am writing this, there is another leaked clip. This one has something I was talking about just a moment ago. The next clip is at sunset, and it literally dropped the minute I finished the last section. So let's get into it. The next one is at sunset, and it starts at an intersection. A police version of the Western Sovereign 107, with a police officer on top, turns and drives towards Jason. Jason runs onto the road towards the officer and kicks him off his bike. The officer is now on the ground, and we get our first look at the weapon wheel, which shows 6 boxes in exactly this arrangement. Here, all other UI elements also show up on screen. Health, stamina, and focus all appear in the upper left corner. Money appears in the top right corner, underneath the now 1-star wanted level, but only the wallet icon appears. It seems that the home stash may not be available right away. There is $0 in the wallet, meaning this may be pretty early indeed. Above the weapon wheel, similar to Red Dead Redemption 2, there's weapons and items. In the top slot is a pistol, in full color. On the right, there's a fist for unarmed. Under that is what to my eye appears as a flashlight, but that would feel more at home in items, unless you can whack people with it too, which I'm sure you can, to be honest. At the bottom, it's an empty box. And then to the left of that is a hunting knife, which is what Jason is hovering over and selects. And then a final empty box on the left. In the bottom left corner, there are 2 items. One of them is what looks to be a red pill bottle. Under the bottle is the number 3 and a pink heart. Jason has 3, and they're for health. Next to it is something else I can't quite make out, though I assume it's for armor. Jason doesn't have any of these, so the number is 0. And next to it is a yellow heart. I'm sure we'll be able to buy these in stores, but with how much of Red Dead is in this game, I'd say we might just be able to find them and loot them from buildings and stuff. Jason now slices the guy to death. The first slice jolts the guy from the floor to his feet in just a few frames. It's more of the same animation jank that was seen in the previous videos. This is going to be worked out, don't worry about it. Jason is also then given the option to pick up the body after he's, done the business. Something that we saw in the 2022 leaks, but of course also in Red Dead Redemption 2. Jason then jumps on the bike and drives away with the siren on. The bike's make and model show with the icons that we saw before, but with a new third one. This is definitely a pin on a map. This is a police vehicle, so it must have some kind of tracker built in. It's a very interesting mechanic, if that's what it is. I like it. He drives past what looks to be a flatbed truck with a tall and thin container on the back, and this actually turned out to be an advertising truck. Please allow me to read what I assume is an overlooked detail. Are you fucked from fucking? Don't let it happen again. Book your vasectomy. As Jason is driving, I have to once again say that this game is beautiful. The sunset lighting coming through all of the trees and reflecting off of these buildings in the background. It looks gorgeous. On his journey down this straight road, I spot a couple of buildings that look like they may have real interiors. One of them is a diner, and it doesn't look to be the same diner as from the 2022 leaks, but an icon shows on the minimap that it's a restaurant with a burger icon. As he passes it though, another icon fades into the side of the diner. I'm not sure what it is, but it genuinely just looks like a speaker. The road ends at a T-junction with the diner on the right, and directly in front of Jason is a Baller dealership. Not a Galavanta dealership, but just a Baller dealership. A red Baller is displayed at an angle on a podium at the entrance. Jason turned left onto the wrong side of the road, and as he does that, his crime from earlier was reported. The 3 red icons show under the 2-star wanted level, and now the minimap is deep red. Interestingly, now there's what looks like a signal coming off of us from the radar, but it doesn't seem to have anything to do with the tracker on the bike. Jason takes a turn off-road, through a group of birds who didn't sound too happy about it, and he plummets straight into a canal underneath a highway. Specifically the Fuzzard Drain Canal, or Fuzzard Drain Canal, it's one of them, which appears over the minimap like so. Jason swims out of the water underneath the highway, and this reveals another location notification saying South Vicedale County. He's now on foot and out of sight of the police. His 2 stars are now flashing. Here's a massive W for you, by the way. Remember how I mentioned that the minimap disappeared when not in a vehicle? Well, as soon as Jason ditched the bike and swam to shore, the minimap continued to show on screen. Most likely because the police are after you and the minimap contains pertinent information. The minimap disappearing outside of a vehicle is just the dynamic HUD doing its thing. It's not going to be a phone app that you have to load up, but it is connected and part of your phone, if that makes any sense. That's why the fruit logo appears on the minimap. It's probably like playing in Red Dead Redemption 2 with a limited HUD. One button press and you can see the minimap, it's no big deal. In fact, Red Dead Redemption 2 had a dynamic UI. Things only popped up if they needed to pop up. But if you wanted to, in Red Dead 2, you could go into the settings and you could keep all on permanently. It's going to be exactly the same in 6, I can almost guarantee it, so I wouldn't worry about that if I were you. Jason then stumbles across a homeless encampment under the highway. The left trigger is pulled to focus on an NPC. And in the bottom right corner, there's the option to greet or taunt. The NPC he chooses to greet is talking to another. So Jason says, "Guys, this is a crazy conversation." And the lady goes, "Uh-huh?" As Jason walks around the 3 people talking, he randomly touches his hair, which looks pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty slick. Jason then walks close to one of the guys and is slightly pushed, because he's annoying him now, I suppose. Jason then pushes him back slightly, and then literally backhands the guy, just like in the trailer. I'm telling you, it's the same animation, I swear. He backhands him and goes, "Shut up." He's definitely the modern day Arthur Morgan. I'm so looking forward to playing with Jason. That sounded wrong. Now we get to learn a little bit more about the new police system. As after the wanted level has died down, the stars stop flashing, but instead of disappearing, they now instead turn red. A notification pops up and says, "The cops are searching for you and they have your description." And it's very ominous. I'm so pumped to be properly worried about the police in my crime game. I can't wait. The guy who was backhanded then tries to cut up Jason with a knife, and Jason responds in exactly the same way. Equips the knife and the weapon wheel, and goes to town. He kills him, and a woman next to him also gets cut up, and her hair responds very realistically to her movements, especially when she falls to the ground. It looks wild. As soon as she's down, the weapon wheel comes up again, as well as the purple devil "you're doing naughty things" icon. Jason takes some of his pills, which we now learn is called Zombix. Zombix appeared in GTA 5 on a billboard. It's a painkiller and antidepressant combo. The Wombo combo. It's nice to see it come back in GTA 6 and have a much bigger role. A pop-up says, "Repeated use of Zombix will temporarily have a weaker effect on your health, so you can't spam them and get the full effect." Jason then cuts up a 3rd woman. He's crazy, but she doesn't die right away. As she's on the ground, squirming a little, Jason is given the option to loot her, so he does. He gets $6. His crime is then reported. He loots another body and gains $8. He kills some more of the homeless and loots them too, where he gets some more Zombix, so you can get that from people too. The minimap now shows a blue area, which is likely where the police are going to search when they arrive. Jason now looks badly hurt, as he has cuts all over him. It looks a lot like Red Dead Redemption 2's damage. Jason then walks away from the bodies and the clip ends. We then see the same cutscene as before. It seems like this guy is using it as some kind of message. And holy hell, that's a lot of leaks. I can't believe this happened. On one hand, I do wish we had been shown all of this with updated UI and polished animations in a trailer, or even the Netflix special. But on the other hand, I have to tell you that I really like everything I've seen so far. This doesn't seem like just another GTA game. There's clearly a lot of thought put into everything here. I like the new weapon wheel and item system. I like limitations. I like the idea of refueling, but like I said, I don't want to do it too often. The new police system seems more engaging. I like that a lot. It makes sense that the police would continue to search for you within a search radius after they've lost sight of you for long enough. It's going to be really interesting gameplay, I hope. The use of healing items is a nice change from just eating snacks, or finding little green health kits on the top of buildings. A weird pill called Zombix is a great choice. I hope they're not too easy to find either. I'd like a challenge in my video game. One final thing I noticed is that there seems to be some height differences, at least between Jason and other NPCs. It's a nice thing to see, and we know Jason and Lucia are definitely not the same height. One thing about these clips is that they all seem to be pretty early in the story, and that's why I think we haven't seen any Lucia gameplay. Jason is the only person that's unlocked at the start. That's probably what it's going to be. Otherwise, we definitely would have had some Lucia by now, don't you think? What's worrying me about this particular leak is that there's no developer tools on screen, there's no watermark, all of the clips have Jason wearing the same clothes. Could this leaker actually have access to an early build of the game? If so, what else is going to get leaked? Story details? Other features? How much of this game is going to be spoiled by leaks? That's my question. And these clips are more or less harmless to our collective hype. I mean, we're seeing features that were only speculated about finally get confirmed, and it looks pretty good. There's not a lot of bad stuff that I can think of at all. And for me, it only makes me more excited. What I don't want to see is cutscenes. I don't want to see story leaks. I don't want big fun gameplay mechanics to get spoiled, or big set pieces, or big moments. I don't want if Liberty City's in the game, like in a flashback or like a prologue, I don't want that leaked. I really don't want any more of this. You know, this is getting a little serious now, so I hope Rockstar can nip that in the bud somehow. Just a note, there are going to be more of these. I've just had a look, and the leaker is apparently taking a poll on what to release next by making people spend money on crypto crap. So, obviously don't do that. Stay away from this leaker and crypto at all costs. Fuck any of that. It's a meme coin, so that can go and fucking do itself, can't it? Yes, unfortunately there may be more. We may be looking at clips titled Car, Day, Car, Night, Motorcycle, Night, and Plane, Day. I don't think that this is going to be ending. I think there's more coming. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. See you soon for the Netflix thing. Also, keep an eye out for my new stream coming soon. I'm back. I'm streaming. All right, keep it breezy and take it sleazy, you cowards.